we're here for one reason and one reason alone, and that is to be able to help you raise more money and attract more supporters. Very simple thing to say, not so simple to do, as I'm sure all of you already know because you all work in fundraising. So over the past 18 months, we've really found that, without any advertising, without being able to raise any awareness at all, we've proven the concept that gamification works. I don't think we've really broke any ground with that, because Howard's already stolen my thunder and said that back in 1985 he did that with a lottery. So what we're doing isn't really innovative in that scheme of things, but on the other hand, being able to take something that we all know and love in the whole of the UK, which is a sweepstake, and I would say pretty much almost everyone in the room will have taken part in some kind of sweepstake in their life, and being able to take that online is innovative, because there's nobody in the world who is currently doing this. So we know that from our last 18 months, and really what you see on the current website that's live now, is that it's a proof of concept. We didn't know that when it came up with the idea whether it was going to work or not, but we know now that it does. And because of that, we've been able to secure some new investment. We've been able to bring that investment in, which has allowed us to build up the team, which is a great thing. And we've been listening during those 18 months to find out what works and what doesn't work. So while we know that that certain thing that we got there, the basic concept of a sweepstake, works, we've been also hearing what people additionally want on top of that. So we've got something that's new. Hopefully Howard can see on his website that it is innovative, it is dynamic, and it is disruptive as well, because it is doing something different out there. Because the whole point is that, as you can see there, you've got your existing supporters. You've got the money and you've got all of those people. So the whole point is that we want to be able to inject something completely new into that, and that injection is something that's fun and engaging, so that from the people that you've already got on your databases, you can generate more money from them, and from their networks as well, from the people that are close to them but you haven't been able to tap into. What's most important as well is that we can bring something completely new, bring you new money from new people. And all of that is being done at absolutely zero cost. It isn't going to cost you a penny at all, and that's a core part of what we did when we put Guess2Give together. We didn't want to go out there and say you've got to sign up and there's a monthly fee and there's an annual fee and there's a this and there's that, because I know it's difficult in fundraising. I've worked in fundraising, I've worked in charities as well, and being able to go to your colleagues and being able to go to your bosses and go, hey look, we've got something here, we've got a company that's going to be able to deliver something that's completely new, that brings something new, that are going to work with us to be able to target new supporters, certainly makes it easier for you to move forward. Now, I know that some of you in the room here might only know Guess2Give a very little bit, so I just want to briefly say what we currently do. The concept is, if I was going to run a marathon, I'd set up my page, send it around to my friends and say, guess how long it's going to take me to run the marathon. The guess at the moment is £3, where 50 pence goes into a prize fund, the majority goes to the charity, the person who guesses closest to my marathon time wins the prize fund and the charity gets the rest. Nice and simple concept. Like I said, we know it works, and we've taken that on to something completely new now. So what we're going to do is a little bit of background on us, what we've delivered so far, Guess2Give 2.0, how to increase your income using Guess2Give, and then into the team as well. So I had the spark of the idea back in 2009 while working for Marie Curie, and I needed to raise some money because I was doing a triathlon. I came up with the idea of a sweepstake, and all of a sudden about 140 people took part in the head office, and it generated banter, it generated a bit of fun. People were making guesses knowing fine well they were never going to win, but the fact was they were just being able to take the mickey out of me and have a bit of fun, and that really meant a lot, and there was the spark there that really caught my mind. From there, a lot of legals later, a lot of technology later, we got the proof of concept, and during that period we got over 160 charities on board, and we've got feedback from and we've got 6,000 users there as well. What that's allowed us to do for a proof of concept was fantastic, and it's allowed us to secure some investment at the back end of last year and be able to do all of the things that we really wanted to do moving forward. So now, like I said, we've got a new team with lots of experience, an intuitive platform that just helps people through the process, and more reasons for people to come back. What we've got at the moment is very much a turn up, make your guess and go away again, like a lot of other platforms out there, but we're working on being able to get people to come back and make another guess and do something else and guess on other things as well. It's being able to get people to do more. And the whole point for all of that is to be able to raise more money for you. That's the only reason we exist. That's it. Because we give so much of what we do to charities. 90% of the money that we generate is given to charities. Now that's not just from the amount of money that comes from the guests. That comes from the guests, it comes from the gift aid, because part of that guest is gift aidable, after spending quite a bit of time with HMRC, being able to make that work. It also comes from additional donations that people make, so people might only make one £3 guess, but they'll round it up to £10, so they'll make a £7 donation on top of that as well. But what's really interesting is that when over 70% of the prize funds are being donated back to the charity. So those people who are getting involved to win, yeah, they want to win, but it's that personal challenge. It's being able to have the fun. It isn't always about being able to put the money in the pocket. A lot of it is being donated back. So all of that comes together to give 90% back to the charities. Now, we are a gambling product. We are a gaming product out there, just like lotteries and raffles and online bingo and all those types of things. But if any of you have investigated that at all, you'll see that not a lot of the money from those products goes to your charity. You know, online bingo is between 5 and 15%. Health lottery, which has been advertised as the lottery for charities, gives 20% to charity. The national lottery is 28%, all fantastic, all huge amounts of money. But we knock that into a cocked hat when we're giving you 90%. That's pound for pound, 3 times more that comes from us. So that's why we know it works, and that's just one of the reasons. That's just the financial side of things. There's a lot more on top of that. It's about accessing that wider network of people. Now, I know that a lot of you will have spoken and been in conversations and been in meetings in the past where you said, oh, how do we get more people? How do we get younger people? How do we get more men? But how do we make sure that we don't hack off Dorothy Donor that Lucy was talking about? You want to make sure that you've got that money coming in on a monthly basis, your 5, your 10, your £20 or whatever it happens to be. But you want to bring in that younger age group. And the Holy Grail is trying to bring in younger men, because men are all rubbish at giving to charity. Not all of us, but a lot are worse at giving to charity, which is why the core demographic for charities is normally 45 plus and female. Like I said, we haven't marketed, we haven't targeted, we haven't been able to during our proof of concept. But what we have found is that 65% of those people who use our site are between the age of 18 to 40. And half of them are men. So there's something in that. They enjoy what we're doing. They see that it's a bit of fun. They see that it engages their friends. And that's what we're offering. And all of this at 0 cost per acquisition. So when you get street fundraising and you're paying maybe £20 or £30 per sign up, or if you're sending out a direct mail and you know that the cost, the return on that is going to cost £30 or even sometimes more per person, it costs 0 with us. In addition, we're also allowing people to do new kinds of fundraising activities. And we've got all sorts of weird and wonderful things that have happened on the site. So people who are doing a cake sale, and they take the cake to work and they sell the cake at £2 a slice, works every time. But they're also saying, I'll take the cake to work, guess how heavy the cake's going to be? They make £36 from selling the cake, and they make £90 from guesses on the weight of the cake. 3 times as much money by doing nothing else apart from setting up a page and then sending it around everyone in the place. We've got one that was just set up last month. Don't know if it was a fallout from Christmas, but how many sprouts can I eat in 3 minutes with a toothpick? I don't know why, but that's what it was. Another guy last month said, how many press-ups can I do on my 50th birthday? In, I think it was 3 minutes again. He did about 120, which was quite impressive. But again, it's just all those funny things. And we've got burgers, you know. There's a burger over on Hoxton Square called the Devastator Burger. It's about that big, it's got about 3 patties, it's pulled pork, it's cheese, it's coleslaw, it comes with fries, it's got a shake, all these kinds of things. And she set it up one day and sent it around her work colleagues and said, guess how long it's going to take me to eat this burger? There was a photograph of the girl a little bit later on, and I tell you, she does not look like a burger tester by any means. But it took her 17 minutes to get through that burger. She raised 165 quid for Marie Curie by guessing how fast she could eat a burger. Real simple things. This targets into community. this targets into your event. This targets into your individual giving. So if any of you do gifts in celebration, when you're sending anything out to people who are doing wedding speeches or anything like that, drop this into them as well. 2 weeks before the wedding, get everyone to guess how long the best man's speech is going to be. Photograph of John up there, and you better get a comfy seat, because once he's had a few beers, he goes on a little while, and off it goes. You know the majority of those people are going to make a guess on that. That's money from nothing. Those things do not exist in what you're doing already, and this doesn't cost you anything. And what this manages to do is go beyond fundraisers' current networks. So where you've got your online donations, you send it out and you know that your close friends and family are going to get involved. And you get your £50 people, hopefully, in the middle. On the group outside of that, people aren't that engaged, and hopefully you're trying to get £20 from those, and some of those people will get involved. But by the time you get to that extreme group of your Facebook friends, your Twitter friends, your work colleagues, acquaintances, that really drops down to people who are engaged, because they've got their friends who they want to give £20 or £50 to. And we've all been on the receiving end of those emails of people that you know, and you respect them for running the marathon, but you can't give them all £20 or £50. We all just can't afford it. But what we're seeing from Guess2Give is the fact that this is happening time and time again, and lots of long, lonely, boring nights analysing email addresses, where people came from, the work email addresses, their family names, give us this kind of information. So you've got somebody here doing an Ironman over in Hawaii, and from a family and local area, got 100 quid, £6 from national, which is not much, but from our work colleagues, £159. You've got Nick over there doing the London Marathon, in total raised £330, and again his work colleague coming in there. We've got Neil here. I wasn't going to do any fundraising, but when I heard about Guess2Give, I thought it would really appeal to my friends, as they all love drinking and gambling. Now, I maybe wouldn't suggest that that's this email subject that you send this out under, but you can see that he wasn't going to do anything at all. What he was going to do, because we spoke to him and said, well, I was going to pay my money to take part in the cycle ride, which was £20, and I wasn't going to do anything else, because I gave him my £20 to the charity, and that was me. But then he heard about Guess2Give and thought, oh, well, it's not a big deal, I'll send it out to my friends, it's a bit of fun, and he's raised £238 from that. And this is what it is. It's bringing in those wider networks of people. It's something different. And there you can see Helen with a Devastator burger, £156.